Shalom, 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 shalom.
Shalom, shalom, family, shalom.
Welcome to. Can barely hear you, Big Broski. Suka, can you
Y'all hear me
speak up?
now?
Yep, that's much better.
Shalom.
He's glitching.
Welcome to Shabbat class. All right, looks like we have a little bit of technical difficulty. Shalom, Israel. How are you feeling out there? Shalom, shalom. Do a little quick shout out. The elder family, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. You already don't hurt them, Miss J. Don't hurt them. Shalom, sis. Glad you made it. Got a big day coming up next month. All praises to the King. Shalom, sis. To my beautiful wife, shalom, my love. Shalom. Shalom. 100 Nation kids. Shalom. Shalom. Sister Mary from the Northwest. Shalom, sis. Shalom.
Shalom, Sister Barry.
Shalom to, again, the elder family. Shalom. Shalom. Who else we got in the audience? To the Tasha. Shalom, sis. Glad you made it. Shalom. Sister Marion, we love you dearly, my sis. We love you dearly. All praise to the King. Glad you made it. To my eldest, shalom, sweetheart.
Breezy breeze.
All praises. Feeling great. Birthday was yesterday. All praises. Thank the Most High allow you to see another day. In Tennessee, visiting my children. Enjoy your children. Enjoy. All praises to the King. If we can be heard, please put a 1 in the chat. If we can be heard, please put a 1 in the chat. It looks like Elder Yehochanan is having some technical difficulties. He's bringing a lesson for today. So we'll give him some time to come in. Shalom, feeling excited. All praises. Well, we say this is the day that the Most High has made.
We will be glad in it.
Absolutely. All right, so we can be heard. We can be heard. All praises. Did we have a good week? Did we have a good week?
Oh, yeah.
We've been by pretty quick. What's going on?
Yeah, it was a good week.
What'd you say?
Good week. Good week.
Indeed, indeed. Wonderful week. That's what we want to hear. What'd you say, wife?
Crazy.
My wife said it was crazy. It was a crazy week for her. Short, but good week. My week was kind of quick, too. Kind of quick and long, if that makes sense. My mom was laid to rest. Oh, we're so sorry to hear that. We'll definitely be praying for the family. We're so sorry to hear that. Yehochanan said, give him a moment. He had to restart his computer. We will be praying. We know the feeling.
Yes, we do.
We know that feeling very well.
Oh, so well.
What is it? What, 4 years now? Almost 5?
Yeah, almost 5, man.
It was just as fresh. We understand it. We definitely will be praying. Wait a minute. Let me get my sound effect for this one. Wait a minute. Where is it at? Where is it at? Look what I saw in the comment. Bam. Yeah, man. Miss J. Was it the bomb? Was it the bomb, Miss J? Miss J, talk to your boy. Was it good, Miss J? Yeah, man. Yeah, that is a winner. That is a winner. All praises for our lovely sister Tasha. She hit the family up. Was it about a week or so ago, week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. Yeah, I mean, man, forget that salt. Man, you might want to throw some of that cinnamon on it. Man, it was the bomb. You know that exactly. Yep, that's what you say. I just had watermelon for breakfast. That's what I'm talking about. We just had another watermelon and wasn't as sweet as the last one. So instead of me throwing it out, I just made watermelon juice. Seed, preferably with the seed. Get those natural vitamins and minerals into our system. You know, they're doing crazy stuff with the food supply, with the air quality. But our King told us, we pray and believe in faith. Nothing would by any means harm us. We believe and we trust that because we are in the land of our captivities. And all of us do not have the ability to grow our own food. So we do the best we can and we trust the Most High. So, yeah, happy belated birthday to my aunt. Most High's blessing. We pray that each and every one of you are enjoying your life in the Heavenly Father. Remember, we will be having our Pentecost or Shavuot Moedim on tomorrow. I'm contemplating whether to have it here on YouTube or going to Google Meet. Huh? You say? Add mint, ginger, and lime. We're gonna try that too, sis. I don't think I have lime.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan right there.
I can add lemon though. I can exchange it for lemon though, can I?
Yeah.
If I
That
can
lime
change
is,
what'd you say?
yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. That lime sound good.
It does, but I don't have lime. I have to go and pick up some. But lemon would work, wouldn't it? Sister Mary? Will lemon work? And again, we're waiting for Elder Yehokanan. He's having some technical difficulties, so we appreciate your patience. Watermelon, cucumber, and ginger. I have cucumber. Watermelon, cucumber, and ginger. I'm gonna try that too, Sister Tasha. So what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a cup. I'm gonna make a cup with mint and ginger. Okay, and the lemons. I do have lemon here. I'm gonna try an 8-ounce cup of that, and then when I drink some more, I'm gonna try the where did it go? Oh, it's in my face. I'm gonna try the cucumber and ginger. All praises. I love Israel, man. They give you all these little hints and tips and tricks. All praises. All praises. So again, I'm contemplating having tomorrow's class. Again, it would be at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time for our Feast of Pentecost. I'm contemplating on having that a little more personalized on Google Meet. I'm thinking about it. but I already have it set up for YouTube. If it doesn't come down, then obviously it'll be here on YouTube. I haven't really made that complete decision. All right, so it looks like we have him back. All praise to the King. Again, we appreciate your patience. We love you all dearly, and we look forward to having a wonderful time in our Heavenly Father. With that being said, I would turn it over to our elder Yehukanan. Take that down.
All praises. Shalom, family. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you, Moray and Suk, for giving me technical difficulties. With all this technology, as beautiful as it can be, sometimes it can be a pain in the neck too. So thank you for that. I'm about to go back and listen to all that goodness that you all were talking about because I missed it all.
We're just talking about water, all that good stuff.
I'm not a watermelon eater, but I think you and Dad sold me on it. You guys talked to me about it a few months ago, and so yeah, Asia, she's my dietitian.
Also,
been encouraging me. Go ahead.
Also, not to sound vulgar, but it's a medical thing.
Yeah, that rhyme.
It's a good Viagra for men. I'll just leave it at that.
That's what you and Dad was selling to me. I didn't want to go there with it.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and Asia's my dietitian. She been recommending foods and fruits and things like that for me to eat. So I really appreciate her with that. She's trying to keep her not so old man around a little bit longer. And I all praises to the Most High for that. I do want to live a little bit longer. So with that. yeah, I do want to live a little bit longer. But with that being said, I want to get into the word. There's a lot in this, a lot that has come to me. Been chewing and meditating on this 23rd of after the 23rd, or I was after the 30th of May, got really real to me too, from a standpoint. It's something that not only was the Most High dealing with me on before the 30th, but then after the 30th, when you are put in predicaments in your life and positions in your life where the very word that you believe and teach. Hey, big sis. Hey, little sis, JoJo. How you doing? That you teach is you are called to live it and to walk in it. And so with that being said, I want to encourage you all. I feel led to encourage you all. Want to encourage you all from a standpoint of an old song that we used to listen to back in the day, old rock song that came to mind. I guess is a thought for today's lesson. It was and every time I hear it, it's a very true lyric, a very true hook. Living on a Prayer. And it was a song by John Bon Jovi, Bon Jovi the group. I never really got into Bon Jovi like that, but at the same time, there are certain songs, whether they're on soundtracks, part of movies, etc., where, they kind of catchy, they kind of stick out to you. And Bon Jovi had a hook in one of his songs called Living on a Prayer. And so every time I hear it, I literally think to myself every time I hear it, that is a very true verse, because when we talk about prayer, and we'll get more into it as we move forward, we are truly a people that are living on a prayer. And so even when we pray, because we're living on a prayer, one thing that we have to eventually get to the point in our prayer life is that our prayers must be in agreement or in accordance with the prayer that we're living on. In other words, the one that has prayed for us, the one has sought the will of the Father, the one that has laid before the Father and helped us or brought us to a place to understand his counsel, we're living on his prayer. And so understanding that we're living on his prayer, we have to get to a point or a standpoint that when we pray, and I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I'm going to work back. When we pray, that our prayers are in accordance or in agreement with the prayer of the one that we're living in counsel or in agreement with, in covenant with. And so as we come upon the cusp of another feast day, the feast days are classified as Sabbaths or Shabbats. The feast days are classified as Sabbaths or Shabbats. And so with Sabbaths, whether they are weekly, we're talking about the weekly Sabbath, which is what we're partaking in right now, where we have our class every seventh day. Don't get tricked. And I don't want to get into all the new moon Sabbath keepers and all that, but that's not biblical. It's not biblical. And there is teaching that can be done. And if there's ever understanding that you all need concerning that, or you come across that, there's no such thing as the lunar Sabbath. That's not in the Bible. You don't even see that phrase in the Bible. But when you talk about the Sabbath was established every seventh day, talking about the weekly Sabbath that we keep. But then we also have the high holy days, which are also classified or called Sabbaths. And this is important because when we talk about the Sabbaths, we're talking about memorials. They are memorials. Memorials are something that remind us, whether it's of a person or an event. Again, a memorial is something that reminds us, whether it be of a person or an event. So when we talk about these high holy days and our weekly classes, we're talking about Sabbaths, we're talking about memorials. And so even when you look at our commandments are literally, in one of our commandments, it literally says in the fourth commandment that we are required to do what? We are required to remember. Remember. To have in or bring to one's mind. To remember. To have in, to bring to one's mind. To emphasize. When we're talking about remember. To emphasize the importance of something. When we remember, we emphasize the importance of something. To have in or bring to one's mind, to emphasize the importance of something. And so what we must understand is that if the commandment is to remember the Sabbath, or if the high holy days are memorials to something, whether it be a person or an event, we have to understand that because that is the case, the reason why we're being commanded to do these things is because there's something important in them, one, and in the fact that there's something important in them, what is required of us is to make sure that we maintain or that we keep that importance a part of us, because things in life happen to diminish the importance, to diminish the effect, to in a sense come for or take away the thing that we're called to remember. If you're walking with me, please, please put a 7 in the chat if you're walking with me. I want to make sure that we understand this before I move forward, because I know me, I get going and I get to talking, and I don't want to leave anybody behind. I want to make sure that you're walking with me. Can I get a 7 in the chat? if you're understanding where I'm going so far, we're talking about memorials, things that are important, things to emphasize. All praises, all praises. And so when we talk about life, much in life can come and derail, sidetrack, distract us from the thing that is important, the thing that should be paramount, the thing that should be first and foremost in our mind, the thing that should take precedence in our heart, in our actions, in our thoughts, our word, our deed. It tries to take precedence over that. And so ultimately, the goal of the obstacle is to flat out replace what truly matters or what is truly important. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a thing that is sinful. Listen, we got a lot that goes on in our life, whether we're parents, whether we're sons and daughters of someone, whether, we have jobs, we have obligations. We're in this world, but we're not of the world. And so every day when we talk about this fight or this journey, it is a constant reminder every time we wake up that because we're alive, we have to have the mindset that no matter what day I wake up, no matter what title I have in my life, no matter what obligation I have in my life, there's nothing more important than the one that's supposed to be seated in my mind, my will, and my emotions, in my most holy place. Remember, I don't know if you remember or recall, but there was a lesson that we taught a few weeks ago where it talked about, is this seat taken? And so even in the seat that we're talking about, we have to be careful, because there is no sin with you being a father or a mother. That's not a sinful thing. There's no sin with you getting out and earning an honest day's living. It's not a sinful thing. But if these things become more important than the one who's supposed to be seated in our mind, our will, and our emotions, then what happens is we've gotten away from a place that the Most High has called us to. We've gotten away from that thing that is supposed to be a memorial, or that thing that we're supposed to remember. And so as we look at Hebrews, I'm going to go ahead and read it because I don't know how is Suka on? Is he feeling good? I don't know if he feels good.
Yeah, I'm good. What's up? What you need me at?
Can you give me Hebrews 12, verses 1 and 2?
Hebrews 12, 1 and 2.
Yes, sir.
God.
Be
Wherefore, seeing we
stop you.
Got you. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight.
So we're talking about, hold on. So we're talking about those things, every weight. So there are some burdens in life. Life comes with burdens. It comes with challenges. It comes with responsibilities, whether they're negative experiences or positive experiences. They come with weights, burdens. Not everyone is negative, not everyone is positive, but they come with weights and burdens. The word says to lay these things aside, the sin and the what?
Weight.
Go ahead.
Which does so easily beset us. And let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High.
That's in the verse 2?
In the verse 2.
Okay, thank you. So when we talk about the king, the word says that he's the author and the finisher of our faith. And so when we look at the life of the king, we're talking about one who, despite every role that he played, because he was a son just like some of us. No, he had parents like us. So he was a son, he was a brother, he was a friend. I'm sure he had some kind of employment during the time that he was, before he began his ministry. He was a priest, but in all that he was, in every hat that he wore, he always kept these things priority in his life. From a standpoint, they were always secondary to what he was ultimately called to do. Like, no matter how much he grew attached to the apostles, no matter how much he loved fellowshipping and hanging with the brethren, he understood the fact that even though he's called to this ministry and he's called to serve the people and he's called to be a blessing to the people, he also knew that he was called to die. He also knew that he was called to be that sacrifice. And so no matter how much they loved him, no matter how much they lauded over him, and no matter how much they praised him, far be it from you. Far be it from you that you should die. You're coming back. You're the Messiah. You're the king. You're coming back. You have the words of life. You're coming to restore the kingdom. Come see a man that told me everything I did. All the praises, all the adoration. He still kept in focus, but I've come to do the will of my Father. He understood, looking unto him, he understood that despite the fact that the blind were seeing, the lame was walking, the deaf were hearing, the dumb were giving their speech. In some instances, some were even risen from the dead. He rose some people from the dead. Demons were getting cast out of people. People who were hungry were getting fed. Despite all he was doing, he still had this thing in the back of his mind that he knew that if he did not do exactly everything, despite all the good he did, everything that the Father said do, that he would have fell short of the glory, short of the promise, or short of the assignment. In other words, he would not have created the faith journey that he was put on. So when you talk about the faith or faith, it was his assignment. Faith, his faith, it said that he's the author and the finisher of our faith. In other words, he's given the assignment. Whatever his assignment was, he showed us how we ought to commit to that assignment, or commit to that even unto death, when we look at the life of Christ. And so when you understand faith, or the Greek word of faith is pistis, and it means belief, faith, trust, confidence, fidelity. In other words, we talk about fidelity. He was committed to what it was that the Father said do. He was committed to everything that was about the Father, no matter what state that he found himself in, to the point that even when his own mother would call him to want to counsel with him or meet with him, he said, "Who is my mother? Who is my father? My brothers and sisters, but those that do the will of my Father." I'm not going to stop doing what it is that my Father called me to do, to surrender or adhere to carnal relationships, or take down to carnal relationships. As much as they matter to me, as much as they are important to me, nothing is more important to me than doing the will of my Father. So when you talk about his fidelity, and when you talk about his trust, his belief, his confidence, he understood walking. He said in John 4:34, "My meat is to do the will of my Father." Now, when you have meat, when you talk about meat, for me, I'm a meat eater. Ain't nothing like having a good steak or nice, baked or fried piece of chicken or whatever. When you have some good meat, for the young people, pause. When you have meat is fulfilling. Meat is a welcome part of the course of the meal. And so what he's saying is, Everything else at that time in that moment didn't matter. He said, I have meat that you know not of. They thought he had went and got something to eat somewhere else. He literally had a moment where he was so satisfied and so fulfilled in doing the will of his father that he didn't even remember that he was hungry. Remember, the purpose of the apostles during that time was they went to town to go get the man some food. But when he was so enamored with and so engrossed in doing the will of his father, the man forgot he was hungry. And I know that to be true because Moray and I, we can testify to this. We were packing and helping somebody move. We had lifted all kinds of furniture. We were young bucks, and we was for the ministries we were in the past. We were the designated movers. We always end up doing the moving, always end up doing the lifting, and we lifted some heavy stuff, crazy heavy stuff. If you want to know if Moray strong, he's strong. If you want to know we're strong, older or middle-aged men now, but we were strong, very strong. And so with that being said, we were movers. So what happened is one particular Saturday, we were hungry. And we were at the house that they had on Maslin on 13th Street. For those that know about the 13th Street house, very famous house, very foundational house. We were sitting on the floor between the kitchen and the doorway. And we were budding young teachers. You know, we're still learning the scriptures, learning the word, but called upon to teach, partner. We've been partnering with this thing for a long time. What happened was we were preparing a lesson for Sunday school, you know, because we were keeping first day instead of the Sabbath. We Sunday school. And in us keeping Sunday school, we said, what book would we want to study in order to prepare a lesson? So Moray says, you know what, let's look at the book that's before Revelation. Let's look at Jude. Never looked at Jude before, never studied Jude before. Didn't really have no real understanding of Jude. We studied Jude, and we started early in the afternoon. I mean, early. Had to be around 1, 2 o'clock, something to that effect. We studied that one chapter of Jude together, breaking it down, looking at every word, looking at every detail, going back. At the time, we didn't know about precepts, but we were going back getting precepts. I mean, man, Jude took us on a ride. We were so excited to teach Jude because Jude took us on the ride. But the thing about it is, as we were sitting there meditating and studying Jude, people walking around us, people peeking in on what it is that we were listening to and talking about. What happened was we forgot we was hungry. By the time we had got something to eat, it was about 11 p.m., 12 o'clock that night. We had studied for at least about 10 hours straight. Mind you, we had just lifted furniture. It was light outside. We was literally hungry because we had lifted furniture. But once we got down to studying that word, the meat to do the, would say, brother?
Salaki. And we never went to the bathroom.
You are so right, bro. Nothing else mattered. Nothing else mattered. I don't even know if I was I know we had kids. I don't even remember my wife that day. I don't remember seeing sis that day. I remember people around, but nothing mattered in that moment. And we did not eat until we closed the book. Until brother just brought, we didn't get up and go to the bathroom either. At least 10 hours of straight study of one chapter. One chapter. So when the king says, my meat is to do the will of my father, I understand what he's talking about. Because the king literally in that moment and ministering to the woman at the well forgot I know that's possible. We're not making that up. The king is not making that up. That's not an exaggeration about the king. And I'm really trying to use that to emphasize the king because the king prayed for us. And the king is the author and the finisher of our faith. And the king, in his prayer, gave us certain directives, certain understandings. Suka, can you give me John 14, 15 through 18? Because we're talking about faith. We're talking about trust and fidelity and what faith means. Can you give me John 15 through 18, big brother?
John
Read us-
chapter 14, 15 through 18.
Yes, sir.
If ye love me,
Mm-hmm.
keep my commandments.
So time out. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. So keeping of the commandments gets you in position for the rest of what we are about to read. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Go ahead.
And I will pray the Father.
And I will do what?
I will pray the Father.
He said, I will pray. I will pray. Remember, we're living on his prayer. He said, I will pray. Go ahead.
And he shall give you another comforter,
Mm-hmm.
that he may abide with you forever.
The Father will give us, because of the prayer of the King, another comforter that he may abide with us forever. So when you, and we've done this before, we looked at this before. When you look at the Greek of the word comforter, it's parakletos. It means to comfort, encouragement, exhortation, consolation. Back in the day, when you talked about the comforter or the Greek understanding of this, it says it is a regular term that was used in the so-called New Testament. And it represented one that was an attorney or someone giving evidence that stands in court. In other words, this comforter was to represent us in legal matters. That's why he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. And I will pray that the Father will send you the comforter. In other words, somebody to represent you in a legal matter, because the comforter can't come unless you're keeping the commandments. So if you're not keeping the commandments, the comforter is not going to come. But if you are keeping the commandments, the comforter then can come and represent you in this legal matter. If you guys are with me, let's go with the next number. Put an 8 in the chat. I need y'all to understand we're talking about the comforter that the King prayed that will come. Put an 8 in the chat, please. Okay. Suka understands, or whoever Morano COTV is. Okay, Sister Mary, all praises. Good. Okay, you guys are walking with me. Okay, so understanding this, verse 17, big brother.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Spirit of truth,
Mm-hmm.
whom the world cannot receive.
The Spirit of truth.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whom the world cannot receive,
Mm-hmm.
because it seeth him not.
Because it
Neither
seeth him
knoweth-
not. Neither what?
Knoweth him.
Neither knoweth him. Mm-hmm.
But ye know him,
Mm-hmm.
for he dwelleth with you, and
Mm-hmm.
shall be in you.
Mm-hmm. It says when you talk about that word knowing, it means knowing is the Greek of that is gnosko or gnosko, allowed to be aware of, because you're keeping the commandments. You're allowed to be aware of this Spirit, this comforter, allowed to feel, to have, to know, to perceive, be resolved. It can speak, be sure, to understand, to know this Spirit. So in other words, you have interaction, you have relationship with this Spirit, this comforter. Go ahead, verse 18.
I will not leave you comfortless.
Mm-hmm.
I will come to you.
Mm-hmm. So when we understand this, we understand the obedience of this person. He's the author, he's the finisher of our faith. He was so enamored, so, for lack of a better term, obsessed with the Father, that he was obsessed with doing any and everything that the Father said do, even unto death. So we understand the commitment. You understand the faith, the commitment. When you talk about faith, we talk about the fidelity. His commitment to the Father was as such that he said, now, if you love me, keep my commandments, do what I said do, walk according to or walk in obedience with me. Why? Because now I'm going to pray that the same spirit that was in me, moving me, driving you, will now, moving me and driving me will now be in you, moving you and driving me the same way, obsessing over the Father the same way, prioritizing the Father the same way. This is what we're talking about. This is who prayed for us. This was his life's goal, his ambition through his life, through his obedience, that we recognize the Father. Remember, he said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. He said, if you would be perfect, he said, be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. He would say that there's none good but the Father. So he wanted us to know. He wanted us to understand. He wanted us to have a true and genuine yada, true and genuine experience, a true and genuine relationship with the Father. And so when you even look at his interaction with one of his apostles, one of the prayers that he prayed for his apostle, he said, the enemy, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to work back. He said that the enemy desires to sift you as wheat, but I prayed for you that your faith fail you not. So what does the book say about faith? Because we're talking about faith. We're talking about our trust, our obedience, our confidence, our fidelity, our commitment. He said that your faith fail you not. 2 Corinthians 3 and 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. Can you get that for me, big brother? What does the book say about faith?
Yes, sir.
2
Corinthians 13 and 5.
Yes, sir.
Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahushua HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates.
So we're called to examine ourselves, whether we be in this thing called faith. We're supposed to be in the faith. In the faith. Not just this concept, this mystical concept, but the word says that we are to be in it. Give me Romans 10 and 17. Examining ourselves. So we're to have relationship, dealings, intimacy, interaction with this thing called faith. Go ahead. You got Romans 10, 17?
Yes, sir, I sure do. So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of the Most High.
So faith come by hearing, hearing by the word. Deuteronomy 4 and 12.
Well,
remember, faith come by hearing and hearing by the word. Go ahead, big brother, Deuteronomy 4 and 12.
And the Lord spake unto you out of the midst of the fire.
And the Lord did what?
Spake unto you
he
out
spake.
of the midst of the fire.
He spake. When somebody speaks or speak, they're saying words. He said that the Lord spake unto you. Go ahead.
Out of the midst of the fire.
How does faith come by? How does faith come again?
By hearing. And hearing by the word of Yah.
And the Lord did what? According to Deuteronomy 4 and 12.
And the Lord spake unto you out of the midst of the fire.
The Lord spake.
Yes. Ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude. Only ye heard a voice.
Only ye heard a voice. The Lord spake unto you the words. We heard the words, We didn't see it. So we understand when we talk about faith and how it comes, the book says faith come by hearing and hearing by the word. Now, this is important because now we talk about the relationship that we're to have with faith. It says that we must examine ourselves whether we be in the faith. The only way that we can be in the faith is there has to be an experience or a connection with the word. And so when we talk about faith and what it meant from the Greek of it, it means to have trust or fidelity. In other words, there has to be a commitment to this word. There has to be a commitment to what is said. There has to be a commitment to this relationship. And the only way that relationship is formulated is we have to hear the word and do or apply in our life what we hear. We're not talking about something mystical. We're talking about something that now motivates us or pushes us in a direction or pushes us to action. So in other words, if you're saying you got faith and you have no action, then you have no faith. It's impossible for you to hear what the Father said, to receive the word, to let that word become a part of you and not have any action with it. There must be action with it. Christ says, shall I find faith in the land when I return? In other words, when he comes back, what he's looking for is some people who believe what he said. And in believing what he said, he should find manifestations of kingdom here. He should find manifestations of kingdom there. He should not come back and just see people with ideas, people with thoughts of doing this and thoughts of doing that. There needs to be movement. There needs to be commitment to action. There needs to be commitment to kingdom business, commitment to kingdom work. So he said, and the Lord spake unto you out of the midst of the fire, and ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude. And when you understand what was happening during that time, we were receiving the what? The commandments. So we're receiving commandments. If something is commanding you, what does it mean to be commanded? It means you're given instructions. You're being mandated to do something. You don't just get commandments and you sit. You don't just get commandments and not move. When you get a commandment, the commandments are for you to move forward. There are times when we say to our kids, did you hear me? Why? Because if you heard me, then I expect the actions to govern what you heard me say do. If I ask you to bring me a bottle of water, I need to know that you heard what I said do. If I ask you to pick up after yourself, I need to know that this is the same thing with our Father. When he says, do thus and so, what he's expecting is that word to now become a part of us, and it gives the way to action. And so when you understand what faith is, faith requires fidelity. It requires commitment. It requires a commitment to action. This is what, when we look at the Father, what the Father is looking for is for his word to be so prevalent in the forefront of our mind and our heart that it governs each and everything that we do, how we move, how we think, how we prioritize. John 1:1, Morea taught this eloquently, and I can't even go back and do it justice when we talk about Deuteronomy 12, and it says that faith, like we heard the voice, we heard the words of the voice coming from, we saw no physical thing, we saw no similitude. When you look at John 1:1, the Greek did not read that the word was God. It read, God is his word. So when he speaks to us and he tells us to come forth, because in Jeremiah, he said, before you was in your mother's womb, I knew you. When he says for us to come forth, he's not telling us to come forth and there's no assignment. He's not telling us to come forth and there's nothing to do. That's why the word says a liar will not tarry in my sight. And a lot of times we look at it as when we stand before him in judgment, that we're going to, that if I tell a lie, he's going to know it. So he's not. No, a liar means that when the truth of why I've called you forth is weighed in the balance, what I'm looking for is, did the truth find a home in you? And if my word did not find a home in you, you are a liar. We can reference 1 John 3:8 and 8, and 1 John 3:9. You'll know by the life you live who your father is. If you're living in sin, then you're a liar, because you didn't live the truth in which you were created for. He said to Jeremiah, before you was in your mother's womb, I knew you. I know why I created you. I know why I made you. I know why I purposed you to be born during this time. So if you're not going to live according to what I commanded you to do, then the truth ain't in you. The light ain't in you. You are of your father, the devil. He's the father of lies. Anytime that we live outside of what the Father has commanded us to do, his word did not find a home in us. And so if his word did not find a home in us, we are a liar. And he said, a liar won't tarry in my sight. If you understand that, put a 9 in the chat. If you understand that, put a 9 in the chat. I see 1 9. Okay, a couple more 9s. All praises. We're of our, when he says he is his word is to find a home in us. That's why when the king spoke, according to John 6:63, he said, what? The words I speak, they are what? Spirit and life. Why? Because every time he spoke, he said, I don't speak of my own. I speak what the Father gives me to say. I speak what the Father gives me to has commanded. He said that in John 5:30, the judgments that I speak, the authority that I move in. He said, I don't do this of my own, but it's the Father. These words find root in us. And so we understand what the faith is the literal word, the literal logos, the literal thoughts of the Most High that he has now imparted in us, has commanded us or has mandated us for us to walk in, for us to do. And so what we must come to the understanding of when we look at faith is not this mystical thing, but faith is an actual being, an actual entity, an actual person. Faith is the Father. The Father is faith. About to prove it. Suka, give me on Galatians 5:22 through 23. I'm going to stop you at one word. You're going to see it in a second. You probably already know. Galatians 5:22 through 23. The Father
22.
is faith. Go ahead.
Right here.
22 through
Galatians
23.
5:22. Yes, sir. But the fruit of the Spirit is love.
The what
joy.
of the Spirit is what?
The fruit of the Spirit.
The fruit, not fruits, but the fruit. So when we talk about apple, An apple has many characteristics, but it's still one fruit. So when we talk about this verse or these two verses, it's not saying, because a lot of times we say fruits of the Spirit. No, this is a fruit with many characteristics. Go ahead.
The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith.
What?
Faith.
The Father is what?
Faith.
He is faith. Go ahead and finish that.
Meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
Against the Father, because this is his character, there is no law. So there is no law against faith. There is no law against faithfulness. There is no law against moving in what he said do, because the Father is not going to tell you or give you a commandment to do anything that goes against him. He's not going to give you a commandment that goes against his word. He's not going to tempt you with evil. He is faith. He's always going to guide you in a way that goes with his will, his plan, his agenda. And it is his desire to give you the kingdom. Well, what is the kingdom? Thank you for my Moray, my brother, who broke this down for us. The kingdom is what? The Father. He wants to give us him. He wants to dwell in us and be with us, have a connection with us, have a relationship with us. So when we talk about faith, faith is not this. Faith is literally the Father's Spirit wanting to be in relationship, in connection with us. It's like him becoming our DNA. When he gives us a commission, when he gives us a commandment, when he gives us a word, when he gives us a talent, a gift. Remember, the word says every good and perfect gift comes from above. Well, who's above? The Most High. Every talent that we have, every ability that we have, it comes from the Father. And so understanding that, that's why it's important for us not to take our gifts and use them for corruption and sin and everything else, but to use them and hand them back to him in service to him. Why? Because he's giving us a charge, a commission. The gift wasn't just for us to go out and do this, that, and the third and enjoy it and have fun with this. No, the gift was literally for us to serve him, to connect with him, to manifest or bring the charge that he has birthed us with to pass. The Father is not making this thing up as he goes. He's not saying, okay, let me give you this singing talent, or let me give you this talent for administration, or let me give you this prophetic talent. Let me give you this talent for helps. He's not making this up as he goes. He's literally saying to you, when he thought of you, when he put you in the logos, he's literally saying to you, okay, this is why you're here. When you're born, when you cry, when you crack the matrix, when you cry and you're birthed out, you're birthed with everything that's needed for you to accomplish the will of the Father. The Father is not adding anything else to you. He's not like, oops, I forgot. That's not what the Father is doing. So when you talk about faith, faith is literally your purpose, your God-given commission, the thing that you're talented to do, the thing that you're gifted to do, that the Father put in you. That's why he said gifts and callings are without repentance. He don't regret it. He know what he created you for. He know what he made you to do. He know what he built you for. That's why he said, that's why the king was the lamb that was slain what? Before the foundation. It was in his thoughts. He was the lamb that was slain before the foundation of the world. He was already the lamb, already done, already the Mashiach, already the one that was crucified. We're talking about faith. We're talking about the logos. We're talking about the thought of the Father and why he brought us forth, or why he created us. So when it comes to us and our relationship with the Father, he's wanted us to connect with him, with our gifts, the talents and abilities that he's given us, and say, okay, Father, I present these, or I put these back into your hands. What would you have me to do? How would you have me to serve? How would you want me to love you? How do I walk in relationship with you? That has to be our thought process. That has to be our mindset, because he's trusted us with something. He said to us, he's given, okay, to Yahuwah and I, he's given a measure of faith. To Moray, he's given a measure of faith. To Sukkah is given a measure of faith. Mary, all of you, my wife, he's giving you a measure of faith. But with Christ, he given the faith without measure. To whom much was given, much was required. There was much on Christ's shoulders. He had much to answer for in his life if he did not do what he was commissioned or commanded to do. Why? Because the Father gave him this word. He gave him this commandment, this commission, this charge, this faith that Christ had to be faithful to. And the Father not only commands us to be faithful to it, but the Father is saying, listen, I'm bound by the same word that I speak. That's why he said, I'm not a man that I should lie, nor the son of man that I should repent. If I not said it, shall I not bring it to pass? Sukkah, give me 2 Timothy 2:13. This is how faithful the Father is to what he said. 2 Timothy 2 and 13. We're talking about the Father.
Yeah.
And he is faith.
2 Timothy 2 and 13.
Yes, sir.
If we believe not,
Mm-hmm.
yet he abideth faithful.
Yet he do what?
He abideth faithful.
Even if we don't believe, we don't do what he said. He does what?
He abideth faithful.
Why?
He cannot deny himself.
He can't deny who he is. Hebrews talk about these two immutable things. One, any oath that he gives, he keeps it. Two, it's impossible for him to lie. It's impossible for him to lie. If he said it, if it came out his mouth, if he's commanded it, the word says that he watches over his word to perform it. He said that his word don't come back to him unfulfilled. It must accomplish that which he sent it to do. So if he spoke it, it can't come back until it's fulfilled. It can't come back to him unfulfilled. This is how serious the Father is about his word. And so this is important because when we talk about our relationship with the Father, and the Father is faith, what we're talking about is a commitment. I'm sorry.
Shalakia, you said his word can't come back to him fulfilled.
Unfulfilled.
Unfulfilled. What did the Mashiach say? He said, I was sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And then what did he say? I must return back unto him.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Had to go before anything else, had to go back. And guess who else got to return unto the Father? All of us. All of us. And so that's why we're commanded from the beginning to look unto Christ, who is the author and the finisher of our faith, because we need to follow the example that he set and his commitment to his assignment. For the joy that was set before him, he endured the shame of the cross. He said in Matthew 10, we all must bear our own cross. And so understanding that we must bear our cross, it's important for if that word returns back to him, we must fulfill what it is that he said fulfill, because if we don't fulfill it, then we are lying. He said we won't tarry in his sight. That's excellent precept, brother. Thank you for that. I'm going to go to one of his precepts that he gave us. Give me Jeremiah 9, 23 through 24. We're talking about the Father and faith.
23 to 24.
Yeah, Jeremiah 9, 23 through 24.
Thus said the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this.
If I'm going to brag, if I'm going to boast, if I'm going to celebrate anything, because there's a lot of wise men out there, there are a lot of rich men out there, there are a lot of mighty men out there. So that doesn't set me apart. It don't make me any different. We understand Jay-Z is rich. LL Cool J, Diddy, all these celebrities, football, they're rich. There are a lot of mighty men out there. There are a lot of people who got wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. A lot of schools of thought out there. So for me to put stock in that or boast in that or rest on that, that doesn't make me any different than them. But this is what I boast in. Go ahead.
But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understand and knoweth me.
That he know who?
Me. The
And
Most
who is
High.
me? The Most High.
That I am the Lord, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, said the Most High.
This is where we at. This is the place that we're seeking or endeavoring to get. There's a chapter that I want us to go to. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up. Let me slow down. That we know him. So we understand when we talk about faith, it's important for us to understand or be in the place that we know him, that we have a commitment to the Father, that we have a fidelity with the Father, that the Father is within us according to his word, his desire, his prayer, his promises, that these things are in us. Why? Because this is what's going to sustain us in the times to come, in the struggles to come, in the fight to come. And so what we must understand when we talk about the word commands us to fight the good fight of faith, to fight the good fight of faith. And so understanding that we have to fight the good fight of faith, we are to fight, according to what my brother Suka said years ago, we are to fight to do what, Suka?
Believe Yah.
To believe the Most High. How do I know you believe the Most High? Because you do what?
Obey.
Obey what he said do. This is our fight. I know that you are a child of Most High. So when it comes time, when resistance come, when trials come, when tests come, whether they come from the Most High or whether they come from the enemy, our default needs to be automatically to what he said. It is written. That's what the king did in Matthew 4. That's what he did in Luke 4. It is written. Never once did he lean to his own understanding, but he only leaned to what the Father said. That's how we are to fight. Why? Because that word needs to be a part of us. That word needs to be experienced. That word needs to have an intimacy. If there is no experience, if there's no intimacy, if there's no relationship, if there's no connection, we have no way to fight. He said, according to Zechariah 4:6, not by might, nor by power, but by his spirit. But his spirit is what? His word. That's why Christ said in John 6:63, the words I speak are what? They are spirit and life. Well, then how does faith come? Faith come by what? Hearing, and hearing by the what? The word. Doing what he said do. So when we look at this, the enemy is after what? He's after, and Ray taught this, and I got to revisit this. He taught this a while ago, and this is teaching that I don't know if we can ever find a link to that, but that needs to come back up because the enemy is after what? The knowledge of the Most High. What you know, what you yada, what you experience. He said, oh, Sister Du Bois says, it's not enough to say, I love Yah. How do we love Yah? There's a certain way Abba Yah expects us to show him love as, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. We got to show it. Yes, ma'am, Imam Chelsea. Obedience is our default set, has to be automatically. There's no such thing as I lay my religion down or I took the Holy Ghost off, as they say in Christianity. There's no such thing as that. When we're walking in relationship with the King, the relationship with the King is something that comes out all the time. So when you talk about the enemy is after the knowledge of the Father. He's after the knowledge of the Most High. He's after the yada. He's after the experiences. There are things that if they're not exercised or not practiced, after a while you lose them. In high school, I used to get all A's. I used to know algebra inside and out. But over time, over the course of my life, I could not tell you one algebra problem. I could not figure algebra out for you. If my kids came to me in high school and asked me about algebra, I couldn't figure it out. But I was a straight A student in math. I never got less than an A in math. Never. Knew algebra inside and out. Algebra 2, all that junk. Forgot it. Why? Because over time, when you don't exercise something, you lose it. Listen, I'm fat. I'm out of shape. Guess what? I used to be real muscular. Over time, you lose some stuff. You lose stuff over time. Why? Because other things you begin to crowd your life with other things. And so we must understand that this is what the enemy is after. The enemy is after the knowledge of the Most High. What you know, he's after your what? Your faith. Because if I can get you enamored with this and connected with this and tied up with that, guess what you're not doing? You're not doing what you were created and put here to do. So when we talk about living on a prayer, we're talking about the prayer of the king. This is important because now the king has prayed for us specifically, and that what we do is follow the example that he set, that he was one that lived and prioritized the Most High each and every day of his life. That didn't mean that he didn't have friends. That didn't mean that he didn't have some natural connections. That didn't mean that he didn't have fun and laugh and joke. But when it comes down to the business, the Father's business was always paramount, even above and beyond his own needs, even above and beyond carnal relationships, such as his relationship with his mother and his father. It was always about the Father. It was always about doing the will of the Father. It was always about seeking the servant. Listen, as much as he wanted to go back and heal Lazarus, he had to go back when the Spirit led him to go back. Because if the Spirit didn't lead him back, he said, listen, this had to happen for the glory of the Father, so that you all could see that the Father is over, even over the resurrection. Death has no authority over the Father. Death has no power over the Father. This is what he was demonstrating even during that time. Let me sit here a couple more days so that they will see, so that they will know. Suka, give me Luke 22, 28 through 32. Luke 22, 28 through 32.
Sorry about that. My screen locked. Luke 22, 28, verse 28.
28 through 32.
God.
Thank you.
No problem at all. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations, and I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father has appointed unto me, that ye eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan has desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for you, that thy faith fail not.
He says Satan desired. Can we go back to verse 31 and 32?
And the Lord said, no, Salaki, go ahead. I'm waiting on you.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead. I'm going to stop you.
And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan has desired to have you.
To do what?
To have you.
He desired to possess him, to have him, to take him. Remember, we're bought with a price. Our lives are not our own. So either whoever we yield our members to, that is our Lord, either we're serving the enemy or we're serving the Most High. He says Satan desires to do what? To have you. Why does Satan want to have him? So he can sift him as wheat. You must go back and listen to this message that Morea taught a while ago when he said that he may sift you. Well, what is the purpose of him wanting to sift you? He's after the word. He's after your faith. He's after what you know. He desires to take from you the knowledge. He desires to take from you the experience. That's why even when Moray started teaching last week and he said the enemy is trying to do what? He's trying to dampen or kill expectation. In other words, he's trying to take away from you what you know, what you've experienced. I want to put you through so much. I want your mind twisted in this. I want your heart twisted in that. I want you broken. I want you tearful. I want you going through so much that by the time you come to this feast day, by the time you come to this Moedim, your expectation is small. Why? Because you forgot. Because I took the word. Because I took your faith. Because I took your hope. I took your expectation. I'm sifting you. as
Let me
we
see.
after any good thing. Go ahead, brother.
Real quick. In other words, he want you to take back what you confessed.
Mm.
Woo! Yes, sir.
He wants you to take back what you confessed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your experience. I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praises shall continue. We say these things. He's wanting to take that from us. I'm desiring to sift you as wheat. I want you caught up in this relationship. I want you caught up in this affair. I want you engaged in this TV show. I want you worried about what's going on in this country, I want you hearing the negativity of what they said. I want you twisted in so many different ways that when it comes time to the Most High, what happens is you forgot. You took back. You let go. You stop walking in the way. You have people even today that have left the truth, left the understanding, left Christ, left everything. Why? Because the enemy got them twisted. I want this kind of knowledge and I want this kind of wisdom. I want this kind of understanding instead of being led by the Spirit. He said, my word is a lamp unto my feet and a light. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my pathway. It shows me where I am and it shows me where I'm trying, where he wants me to go. Why? Because my life is not mine. Remember, Christ was led to be tempted by the Spirit. He was led to the wilderness. The ancestors, had an 11-day journey. It took them 40 years. Why? Because the Spirit was leading them. Why? To weed out, to try them, to know them. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but he was weeding them out. He was trying them to know them, that they would do what? Serve him, that the word will be embedded in them, that they will become sons and daughters of the Most High. Give me verse 32, big brother, again.
It's like before
I'm sorry,
you
go ahead, go ahead, Moray. Mm-hmm.
Listen, Israel. Don't you take back what you confessed.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
If you said the Most High said something to you,
Mm-hmm.
you better know the adversary is coming to Elder Yehochanan's point. He's coming to try to sift that from you. The moment you take back what you said the Most High said to you, you become double-minded.
I can't
Become
expect.
unstable.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let him sift what you said the Most High has said.
Mm-hmm.
I yield. I can go on, but I'm going to yield there, right there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you already know, Moray.
Facts.
Anytime you feel. With that being said, verse 32, big brother. And you jump in too, big brother.
Moray hit something, boy.
Mm-hmm.
But I have prayed for thee,
Mm-hmm.
that thy faith failed not.
But the king did what?
He prayed for you.
He
That
prayed
your faith failed not.
that your faith. Remember, anytime that he did stuff or he healed somebody, he said, I ain't seen greater faith. He said it was your faith that did it. He gave credit to you obeying or believing the word. If you said, if I but touch the hem of his garment, that was your faith or your belief, your understanding. Whatever it was that manifested the kingdom or the power of the Most High in you, the woman, to Moray's point, to Moray's point, she said, if I but touched the hem, what if she would have took back from that? But she believed that if she just touched the hem of his garment, that she would be made whole. What did the Roman soldier say? He said, I'm a man of authority. You don't even have to walk. Just send the word. If you send the word, I know my child to be healed. That was their confession. That was their faith. That was their understanding. That was their moment, their purpose. So when he says, but I prayed for you that your faith fail you not. Go ahead.
I pray for thee that thy faith fail not.
Mm-hmm.
And when thou art converted,
Mm-hmm.
strengthen thy brother.
When the comforter comes and when the change comes, when we are received the comforter, he said, now we do what? We strengthen our brother. Once we come through, Whatever it is that we're faced with, whatever it is that we're challenged with, now what? We are in a position to now strengthen our brothers or our sisters. Are we our brother and sisters keepers? Yes, we are. We are to strengthen one another when we come through. He said, but I pray for you that your faith fail you not. That, in other words, what you've experienced with me, what you've been tried by, what you know me to be, who you see me be in your life. He said, don't let anything take that from you. I'm still that. I don't change. I don't change. I'm the Most High God, and I change not. I'm the one that brought you out of Israel. I'm the one that brought you out of a bad childhood experience. I'm the one that brought you out of depression. I'm the one that brought you out of suicide. I'm the one that brought you out of health concerns. I'm that one. And if he is that one, he's saying, don't let nobody take that from you. Don't let anything exalt itself against the knowledge or the understanding of that. Walk in that. Stand in that. Stay in that. Give me Psalms 103. I want to, for the lack of time, I'm going to cut down on all the verses I wanted to read because they got real good to me. I'm going to encourage you to read Psalms 103, especially read the whole chapter, verses 1 through 18. But I'm just stop at verses 1 and 2. Psalms 103. Sister Cheryl, she posted it in the Chases of the Way website. She posted, I think it was verses I want to say 15 through 20. Go read Psalms 103. Read that. But I'm just going to stop at verses 1 and 2 for the time. Psalms 103, verses 1 and 2.
Bless the Lord, O my soul,
Mm-hmm.
and all that is within me.
Mm-hmm.
Bless his holy name.
Mm-hmm.
Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits.
And forget not. Don't let that be taken from you. Forget not his benefits. Just read a couple of them for me, big brother. Stop when you feel led. I won't even intervene. This is some of the benefits that we're talking about. Go ahead.
Forgiveth all thine iniquities.
He did what?
Who forgiveth all thine iniquities.
Mm-hmm.
It's Salakia. It's crazy because when I was going through what I was going through the other day, this scripture kept playing, and I don't even know how it kept repeating. It said, who healeth thee of all thy diseases. Hallelujah. It kept playing. This was just yesterday.
These are his benefits.
I keep hearing this scripture right here. It was on repeat. And I looked up at the TV, and it was on repeat.
Yes, sir.
All praises. Who forgiveth all thy iniquities. Who healeth all thy diseases. Who redeemeth thy life from destruction. Hallelujah. Who crowneth thee with loving kindness and tender mercies. Who satisfy thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagles. The Lord executed righteousness in judgment for all that are oppressed. He made known his ways unto Moses, his acts unto the children of Israel. The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger and plenteous in mercy. He will not always chide, neither will he keep his anger forever.
His benefits.
He has not dealt with us after our sins, nor rewarded us according to our iniquities. For as the heaven is high above the earth, so great is his mercy toward them that fear him. As far as
read that again.
So great is his mercy toward them that fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us.
Benefits.
Like as a father pitieth his children.
So the Lord
So the Lord pitieth them that fear him.
Just going ahead and go to 18, brother. I'm trying to keep myself.
For he knoweth our frame. He remembered that we are dust. As for man, his days are as grass, as a flower of the field, so he flourisheth. For the wind passeth over it, and it is gone, and the place thereof shall know it no more. But the mercy of the Lord is from everlasting. The mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear him,
Mm.
and his righteousness unto the children's children,
Mm.
to such as keep his covenant,
Mm.
and to those that remember his commandments to do them.
Can we read verse 2 one more time?
Sure can.
What does it say, big brother?
Bless the Lord, O my soul,
Mm-hmm.
and forget not all his benefits.
And forget not. Don't let.
Yeah.
And we just went through a myriad, and it's still not enough. It still don't describe him enough. Give me Deuteronomy 8, verse 11. This is an admonishment, a warning. Deuteronomy 8, verse 11.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God.
Wait, slow down. We're going too fast. What did it say?
Beware
Beware.
that thou forget not the Lord thy God,
Mm-hmm.
in not keeping his commandments and
Mm-hmm.
his judgments
Mm-hmm.
and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
This is what the enemy is after. This is what the enemy is after. He's after the word, the commandments, his judgments, his statutes, your assignment. He's after your what? Your faith. The word says, beware that thou forget not whatever you're going through, but don't forget. Go ahead. Oh, that's it. That's it for that one. Give me
That's it, sir.
Give me Matthew 13, 1 through 9. I'm going to kind of speed through these because there's a lot of verses. I have to cut some of this out.
Matthew.
Get full.
He said, the same day went Yahushua out of the house
Mm-hmm.
and sat by the seaside,
Mm-hmm.
and great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. I'm sorry, Salaki. And he spake many things unto them in parables,
Yes, sir.
saying, behold, a sower went forth to sow.
Mm-hmm.
And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside.
Mm-hmm. Many times you see what Moray referred to the word as word. He said that these are seeds. He will often tell us these are seeds. If it's not for you in this moment, file it away. It'll come back. But the word is what? The word is called seeds. Go ahead.
And some seeds fell by the wayside.
Mm.
And the fowls
and the
came
what?
and devoured them up. And the fowls
Mm-hmm.
came and devoured them up.
They came to pick up the seeds.
Yes, sir.
Take away the word. Take away the word. Take away what you learned. Go ahead.
And devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth.
Mm.
And forthwith they sprung up because they had no depthness of earth.
Mm. And
when the sun was up, they were scorched. And because they had no root, they withered away.
Mm-hmm. That's those
And
that get excited, run out there, get excited, try to take leadership positions and all this other stuff, get excited, get all happy, no deep root, didn't sit in the cut, didn't learn enough. Next thing you know, they sprang up, give up on the Most High. Go ahead.
You want me to keep going on?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Because they had no depthness of earth.
Mm-hmm.
And when the sun was up, they were scorched. And because they had no root, they withered away.
Mm-hmm.
And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them.
Mm.
But other fell into good ground.
Good
brought
ground.
forth fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold.
Mm-hmm.
Who has an ear, let him hear.
Give me second. I think it's second Corinthians. Yeah, give me 2 Corinthians 10, 4 through 6.
2 Corinthians 10, 4 through 6.
Mm-hmm.
For the weapons of our warfare are
Mm-hmm.
not carnal, but mighty through Yah, through the pulling down of strongholds,
Mm-hmm.
casting down imaginations,
Mm-hmm.
and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of the Most High.
Against what we know, what we've experienced, against the faith, against the word. He said, cast it down, bring it into captivity. Every thought. Go ahead.
And bring into captivity every thought to the obedience of Mashiach,
Mm-hmm.
and having in a readiness to avenge all disobedience when
Mm-hmm.
your obedience is fulfilled.
Mm-hmm. So when we look at this, we're talking about, lately we've been talking about the word must be experienced. It has to become a part of us. It has to become a part of our life. And the enemy wants to take away, wants to cheapen, wants to lessen, wants to dampen that experience. That's why you look at even today, every law that's passed is contrary to what? The scriptures. Everything that they're doing nowadays, the rainbow, all this other stuff, is contrary to the word, is contrary to the scriptures. It's contrary to what the Father put in us to do. Every law that's coming across, it's against the word. It's against the book. Why? Because they're trying to remove the Father. That's why you got all these attempts to clone. That's why you got all these attempts to try to make babies without the need of male-female relationships. Why? Because the word says male and female, he created them, and he told us to be fruitful and multiply. But if I can find a way to make babies without that, guess what? I'm trying to play God, or I'm trying to remove God from the equation. I'm trying to make it so that he is forgotten. If I can, well, you know what? Creation happened, but it happened through a big bang. It happened through all these other theories, all these things to remove the Most High from the equation. And so when you look at it, that's why even the lesson that Moray taught last week, or what he's been talking about when you talk about even the blessing of Abraham, I want to go into that, but I feel like I don't have the time. I want to go into it. Maybe another day we will revisit that. But when we talk about our relationship, what we're talking about is there has been an emphasis in Chasers on the yada, or the experience with the Father, the experience with the Most High, which is why when you look at our relationship with him, we're called to build not altars to our troubles, not altars to our hardships and our pains, but now those altars should be torn down. The altars that we should be building are altars that are based on the experiences that we have with the Father. The first thing that our father Abraham did when he was called from Ur Chaldees, when the Father promised him what he would do because of his obedience, he built an altar. He built an altar to the Father. This is what he did. He built an altar. And so what's happening is, if we're not careful, and we let this thing go, and we forget, or we allow the enemy to make us forget, what will happen is now we are in a condition that we don't even look like the sons of the Most High, the daughters of the Most High that we are called to be. Because the enemy is trying to take away the experience. He's trying to take away the faith. He's trying to take away the word. There's so much more I want to say about Abraham, but for the sake of time, I won't go there. Let's go to Psalms 9, verse 17. I hear you, Moran. You know what? It's a lot. It's a lot. Let's go to Psalms 9, verse 17. Still got a few more verses. Now wrap up. We can revisit it. We probably do it in a deeper look one day. Psalms verse 9, verse 7. Mm-hmm.
The wicked shall be turned into hell,
Mm-hmm.
and all nations that forget the Most High.
It said that the wicked shall be turned into hell, and the nation that do what?
Forget the Most High.
We shall be turned, the nation that, look at our condition now. Look at the condition of the so-called black nation, the black people. Look at us. We're the tail, not the head. We're not living in the blessing of Abraham.
Ah,
No real power, no real unity, no community, no authority. Why? Because we've forgotten. We've allowed this thing to be taken from us. We've gone after other idols. We've gone after other gods. And so we are in a condition, like when you talk about even the Willie Lynch letter, it said that our condition will be as such if they follow these the ways that they turn dark skin against light skin, hair texture. They got us debating and arguing everything. We're to the point we argue the Bible. We argue the Bible where you have people who won't even look at the plainness of the text and acknowledge that it said. They're trying to say you misunderstand that, or it don't jive with my spirit. But it literally says that. And we talk and we argue around it. We have so much that separates us as the called, as the chosen, as the children of the Most High, that the enemy has got us to a point that we have not allowed ourselves to forget or to not walk in the fidelity that we're called to. Therefore, we are a nation that's turned into hell. That's why we got what they call today bad B's, bad BITCHs, and YNs, young ninjas. Trying to keep it clean for the Shabbat, trying to keep it clean today. But this is what we have. Well, there's no sense of respect in the home. There's no sense of reverence and respect in the Most High. He said, listen, according to Hosea 4:6, he said, because you have rejected my commandments, he said, you are no priest unto me. Therefore, I will forget your children. You know why he will forget your children? Because we're not training them in his way. And so our children are walking contrary to what it is that we were called to walk to, because we have not lived priestly before the Father. I'm not talking about you as an individual. I'm talking about this is the condition of the nation. Why? Because we've been sifted. We've been sifted. And we're sifted to the point where we've allowed our victimhood to become our identity. We identify more with being a slave and being labels that they call us and being deported and everything else than we identify with who the Father is. I identify with broken homes. I identify with Greek life. We identify with everything, gang life, everything. We identify with baby mama drama, baby daddy drama. We identify with everything. We try to connect and relate to all of this stuff, and we're forgetting the faith. We're forgetting that we're a nation of king and priests. We're forgetting that we are peculiar people. We're forgetting that we're a holy nation, a royal priesthood, that we're kings and priests unto him. And so because we've forgotten that word that's still out there hasn't been manifested. I mean, it hasn't been fully realized. It hasn't been fulfilled. Guess what? It's not going to return into him void. So you'll still see the condition of the so-called Black community. You'll see us be in the condition that we're in. Why? Because we have not yet walked faithful or returned to the faith. But for those that have a mind and a heart to return, there's a hope. That's why the word talks about 1/3 and this, that, and third. Our mind and our heart is that we want to experience the Most High. We want to connect with the Most High. We want to be faithful to the Most High. And so there's a time when the Most High is going to see those that will not be goats, but will be sheep, that will be the people that will prioritize him and desire his way, just as the king who prayed for us desired his way, and we're going to return unto him. Give me Zechariah 10:9, big brother.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Zechariah 10:9.
Mm-hmm. Because he's faithful. Even when we're not faithful, he's faithful. This is what he's going to do.
And I will sow them among the people.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall remember me.
We shall do what?
And they shall remember me in
He's going
far
to put
countries.
himself back on our mind, and we're going to do what? We're going to remember him. We're going to remember that thing of importance that we got away from, that we lost, that we disconnected. The word says we shall do what?
Remember me in far countries, and they shall live with their children and turn again.
Back to him, back to the faith, back to what's important, back to covenant, back to relationship, walking in the ways of our father Abraham. Give me Baruch 2:30. These are all familiar passages. I'm not teaching nothing new. Baruch 2:30.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
For I know that they would not hear me.
Now read that again.
For I know that they would not hear me.
Yours say no?
For I knew. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see the E. Salaki, please forgive me.
No,
For
you
I
good, brother.
knew that they would not hear me.
He knew. Like,
Yes,
our
sir.
falling away don't surprise him. Iman Chelsea, you stop that. Our falling away does not surprise him. He said, for I knew that they would not hear me. Go ahead.
Because it is a stiff-necked people.
Mm-hmm.
But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves.
They shall do what?
Remember themselves.
That we shall remember ourselves and come back to that place, that thing that is important. Recall that thing that is important to us. Recall the faith. Give me 2 Chronicles 7:14. Iman Chelsea, you stop that. You got it? Second
If
Chronicles.
my people,
If my what?
if my people,
Mm-hmm.
which are called by my name,
Given this mandate, given this charge, given this fidelity, that we are to walk in his name or his shem, his reputation. Go ahead.
shall humble themselves.
What are we humbling ourselves to? We're humble ourselves. How do he know we're humble? Because we humble ourselves to his commandments, his word. Listen, he said, I exalt the humble, I resist the proud. Well, who's proud to the Father? Those that are in disobedience. It's all about his word. If you are obeying his word, he calls you humble. If you're in disobedience to his word, he calls you proud. And he says, I resist the proud and I exalt the humble. I resist the proud, and we can't go by what we call humble and what we call proud or proudful. He said, those that are in obedience to him, those are humble. Those that are not obedient to him, they're proud. He said, but if you shall do what? Humble yourself and do what?
And pray.
Mm-hmm.
And seek my face.
Mm-hmm.
And turn from their wicked ways.
So when I pray, I seek him, I submit to him rather than resist the devil. I don't resist the devil first and then no, I seek him, and in my seeking him, I'm resisting the devil automatically. He said, if my people which are called by my name will pray, I'm seeking the will of the Father. That's what will prayer is, or true prayer is. I'm seeking the will of the Father. He says, pray and seek my face. He said, and turn from my wicked way. My seeking his face automatically turns me from my wickedness. Then what will he do, big brother?
Then I will hear from heaven.
He will hear from heaven.
And will forgive their sin.
Mm-hmm.
And will heal their land.
Mm-hmm. Give me Proverbs 24:10. That's our process of healing. Humble ourselves to his word, pray his word, seek his face, which is his word, turn from our wicked ways. And he said that he will hear from heaven, he will forgive us, and he will heal us. That's our process to healing. Give me Proverbs 24:10.
If thou faint in the day of adversity.
Because the enemy is after your what? He's after your faith. He said, if you do what?
If thou faint in the day of adversity,
Mm-hmm.
thy strength is small.
Mm-hmm. If you faint in the day of adversity, when we face challenges, Moray just said it earlier, don't take back. Don't take down. Don't let go of your confessions. If the Father is who you say the Father is in your life, he will be that. Don't take back. Don't care how it looks. Don't care what they say. Don't care what they put. Listen, even unto death, this is what the king knew about the Father. The Father is the resurrection. Death answers to the Father. So I know that even if I lay my life down because I've obeyed him and I trust the Father, he's going to bring me back. That's what the king knew. That's what the king understood. That was his faith. His faith was to that point that I will not have to see death ever again. That death will have no charge, no power over me if I do what the Father said do. The Father said he's the resurrection. Well, if he's the resurrection, then I'm going to trust that the Father will resurrect me. The king, that's what the king believed. And so when we talk about faith, we're talking about who the Father is, that becoming a part of us, and we now walking in that according to his word. He said the Father's ministry is to reconcile with exactly. Give me Proverbs 24, 15 and 16. Because this has always been attributed to sin. This has nothing to do with sin. This has everything to do with your walk, your fight, your journey in the Father, your experience with the Father. Give me Proverbs 24, 15 and 16.
Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous.
So there are going to be people that try to, there are going to be people that try to hinder you, stop you on purpose. The word says to them, lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. This is to the righteous. Go ahead.
Spoil not his resting place.
Don't spoil his resting place. Don't mess with his things. Don't try to disturb his peace. This is what the Father is saying to the wicked concerning who? The righteous, the justified, those who the king have, those who the Father has justified. He's saying, lay not wait, O wicked man. This is what the Father is saying concerning you who are righteous. He's saying, lay not wait, O wicked, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. Don't spoil his peace. Go ahead.
For a just man,
for a just or a righteous man, do what?
Fall it 7 times. And rise up again. But the wicked fall into mischief.
That's not talking
shall
about
fall
sin.
into mischief.
That's not talking about sin. That's talking about a righteous man will face challenges. A righteous man will face struggles. A just man is going to get knocked down, but guess what? Because he didn't let go. Because he held true to faith. Because he held true to his confession. Guess what? He's going to get up.
Elder,
He's going to get up 7 times. Go ahead, big brother. Go ahead.
That's so powerful you say that, because that verse is taken to say that a man falls 7 times, but it's really in context with verse 16. Verse 15. He falls 7 times because of the wicked man.
Not talking about
Y'all
sin.
see that?
God.
The wicked man is causing the righteous man problems, but the righteous man is not falling into mischief. So I'm glad you brought that out, because that verse don't mean how
Donnie McClurkin.
Probably been explaining it for years.
There you go.
Yes. We get up, we fall down. No, that don't mean that.
No, it's not that song.
Not that song. No. A saint is not a sinner. That's not even biblical. A saint is not a sinner. But go ahead. With that being said, I want to get on that tangent, that soapbox. I got one more verse, and then I'm done. It said, but why we are in this case is because the sifting is coming. But because when the sifting came, the prayer of the king has prevailed, and we did not forget. This is our confession. This has to be what we stand on. This has to be, listen, get out of your head. If it's still in your head after that hope, this is at least the start of the understanding of faith. It's not this mystical thing. It's the Father said do. The Father said, be. The Father said, walk. And that's what we become. That was the faith of the King. Moray brought it out even last night when he said, talk about the faith of Christ. The example that Christ set. He became the high priest. He became the atonement, the propitiation. He became all of this for us, the sacrifice, so that now we can do what? Follow his example that he brought out in was it First Peter or Second Peter? I can't remember. I know I can go find it. First Peter. He brought out in First Peter the example. I think it was 2:8 or 2:9 or something like around there. I know I'll go find it. But go back and listen to that last night because that was a powerful verse. It's talking about
Peter.
First Peter,
second chapter, verse 21.
Verse 21. Thank you, brother. That example that the King set for us is what we walk in so we can be in connection and relationship with the Father, looking unto Christ, who is the author and the finisher of our faith, that no matter what the King went through, he did not take down his confession. I am the Son of the Most High. I am a son of the Most High. You are sons and daughters of the Most High. And whatever we face, the word says, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. So we can't take down. We can't have small strength. We got to walk upright and powerful and strong in the Father, because if there's no failure in our Father, there can't be failure in us. And if he's in us, if we have the Ruach HaKodesh, like we say, then there can be no failure. Last verse, and then I'm done. I'll let my big brother read it. Give me Revelations 14, verse 12, and I yield. You got it, big brother?
Yeah, you said
Revelation 14, verse 12.
Revelation 14, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the patience of the saints.
Mm-hmm.
Here are they that kept the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahushua.
So much more I can say about that. But with that being said, I pray that something was said to encourage you all. Do not let go of your faith. Do not let go of your confession. Just like you are bought with a price, he bought us back. He redeemed us back to him. He is ours and we are his. Let's own the relationship. It's like my father will always be my father. Reggie will always be my father. And guess what? I will always be his son. That man belongs to me and I belong to him from that standpoint of a relationship. We are at a point where we have to get to a point with the Father that the Father belongs to us and we belong to him. And that's what he wants with us. None of this in and out. None of this up and down. Psalms 34 said, I will bless him at all times, and his praises shall continually be in my mouth. Hold true to your declaration. Hold true to your confession. Hold true. Hold true. By all means, I'm saying this to myself as well as you. Don't get discouraged at what it looks like. Stay in the fight, family. Endure to the end. Endure to the end. What does Isaiah 40 talk about? Isaiah 40 talk about something, if you faint not. I've lost the verse that quick. Not they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall, not that one, but something, if you faint not. You shall, if you faint not, that might not even be Isaiah, but I'll come back with that. But if you faint not, man, you shall win, or you shall reap a harvest if you faint not. Stay in the fight, family. If you're having problems in your marriage, having problems with your kids, having problems on the job, having problems in the community, what is it that the Father called you to do? What did he build you for? Stay in that fight. Fight back with obedience. Fight back with your service. All praises. I yield.
Are you? I think you're talking about the Galatians. You talking about Galatians? What is it? 6?
6, 9 through 10.
Galatians 6, 9 through 10.
Bring it out.
Can you get it? Suka Galatians 6, 9 and 10. Let me know what you're talking about.
Galatians 6, 9 through 10. And let us not be weary in well doing,
Oh yeah, yeah.
for in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
Mm-hmm.
And as we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith.
Don't let go, family. Don't let go.
Hallelujah.
I yield. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for getting that. Sister
All praises. All praises. Thank you for that lesson, my brother.
Sure.
Again, remember, tomorrow we are celebrating our feast day of Shavuot at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. If you can make it, we'd love to have you. If anyone has anything that they would like to say, I'll put the link in the chat. If you would like to come up on stage, I'll put the link in the chat. Link is in the chat. If you'd like to come up, please click the link. We'll bring you up. Suka, you have any words? Your lesson, my brother.
All praises.
Great lesson, man. Great lesson. Scripture says it was counted unto Abraham's righteousness because he what? Believed, y'all.
Lead.
He believed. And believe is an action. It's not like my brother said earlier, it's not some mythical, magical thing. It's not, we're going to call that. No. He believed the Most High. Because when he heard the word, what did he do? He moved.
All praises. If not, we will not hold you. We appreciate your patience. We appreciate your responses. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat.
Yes.
Suka, can you get Numbers chapter 6 and read verses 22 through 27? I believe it is.
God. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them.
That's it, family. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Enjoy your families. Shalom.
Shalom, family.
Shalom.